Shalom, shalom, mishpocha. Welcome to another edition of Ray Bash's Ramblings. It has been asked by one of my viewers that I talk about Shabbat. So, since I have about a 10-minute time limit, I'm going to try to be as short and concise, sweet and to the point as possible about Shabbat. A lot of stuff about Shabbat you can research on the internet and is widely available. But Shabbat for most Jewish families begins around 3 o'clock on Friday afternoon. Well, actually, the preparation for Shabbat. Shabbat starts at sundown on Friday night, and of course that falls at various times throughout the year. But it's an early work day or a short work day on Friday. Mama's busy at home cleaning the house, making sure everything's spotless. She's busy preparing all the food, not only for Shabbat night, but for all through Shabbat, because cooking, building fires is prohibited on Shabbat. So she's making sure that there's enough food for the entire Shabbat. Sort of like reminiscent of gathering manna. And the manna you gathered was enough to last you through Shabbat, to where you didn't have to go out on Shabbat and look for manna in vain, and it didn't spoil. Now father, he's busy probably around town getting the challah, the bread, unless the wife makes it herself, saying Shabbat Shalom to friends, wrapping up business, and maybe going out and buying some wine. The children, on the other hand, making sure all their homework's finished, making sure everything as far as school and work is concerned is behind them. They get cleaned up, and everybody wears their best clothes. The table is set as if the president was coming, and the best dishes are used. Now, part of the table, there is a plate which will have the challah, which is the braided bread, and there'll be a cloth to cover it. And there's also a special cup, and that is what the wine will be placed in. And there's usually a set of candles, of Sabbath candles, 2 candles that are lit. So once the family gets all cleaned up, gets together, and sometimes grandma and grandpa or family and friends come over for Shabbat to share the meal, to share the joy of Shabbat, there are many special blessings and songs that are sung and prayed. And once the family gathers around the table, the mother ushers in the Shabbat by lighting the candles. Now, the candles are lit before the blessing because you're not allowed to kindle a fire on the Sabbath, so the candles are lit before the blessing. And once the blessing is prayed or is given, Shabbat begins. The woman will light the candles, and usually if there's a daughter, a smaller child involved, she will participate in training for when she is a mother and has a house of her own. The woman will cover her head and cover her eyes. She'll bring in the warmth and the light 3 times of the candles, cover her eyes, and say a blessing. And you can find the Sabbath blessing for the candles in any prayer siddur, just about a Sabbath prayer siddur, or even online. And afterwards, the father has a special blessing for the challah. He uncovers the challah, gives thanks, blessing for the bread. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lakim min haaretz. Blessed are you, Yahweh our Elohim, King of the universe, who brings forth bread from the earth. The bread is broken, distributed among the family. They eat. Then the wine is taken. Baruch atah Yahweh Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Blessed are you, Yahweh our Elohim, King of the universe, who brings forth the fruit of the vine. The wine is drank, and Shabbat begins. There is a festive meal, and sometimes there's a special blessing that's given before the meal. Sometimes some families wait till after the meal. But the woman is blessed by the husband reciting Proverbs 31. The children are blessed, where the boys is may Yahweh make you like Ephraim and Manasseh. And the daughters are blessed with a blessing. May Yahweh make you like Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, and Leah. So they eat and enjoy Shabbat after the meal is ate. Usually there's a blessing after the meal had been eaten, because the Torah commands us, when you are eaten full, be sure to thank your God, lest you take everything for granted and forget God. Then songs, Zimaros, songs are sang, special Sabbath songs, and everybody enjoys Sabbath. And afterwards, if it's still light outside, maybe sometimes the family will just sit around on the porch and sing songs together, maybe take a nice little refreshing walk, maybe, just kind of lay out and take a nap. But family spends time together. Sometimes there's Sabbath services, so sometimes immediately after the meal, the families will go to special Sabbath services at the synagogue, go to sleep, wake up the next day, and there'll be, morning Sabbath services at the synagogue. So that's basically a very brief crash course summary of what the Erev Shabbat, the evening of Shabbat, is like in most Jewish homes. Hope you learned something, hope you enjoy it, and maybe I'll elaborate more on Shabbat in later videos. Shalom, Shavua Tov.